Common Knowledge Podcast, just a man doing the best he can with what he got. And today, I got a very special guest. Man, the second Cameron to come on the podcast. My homie, Cameron Ealy, from a different generation. And before we get started, though, I would be remiss not to point out that at the time of this recording, Trump is having his military parade along with the multiple protests in LA against ICE and the No Kings protests all around America. All this is coinciding while we do this podcast.
Trump definitely has told us what he's going to do. So it's kind of like I'd say, expected outcome. You know, I kind of have a hard time though, because you see certain things mainstream media wise, and then you see the actual clips. So it's like, what's really going on?
In times like this, you gotta fall on the law and what the law says. But people don't know what the law says. Like, if I told most people right now, being undocumented in America is not a criminal offense, they'd be like, no, it ain't. But no, look it up. Being undocumented in America is a civil offense. And most people don't know the difference between a civil offense and a criminal offense.
Yeah, I think we get caught up in the whole rigmarole of it all. So one side or this side, that side. So try to be as partial as possible. I'd like to understand what the biggest end state of it all is. So deportation would obviously be, I guess, the first answer, so to speak. But what does that look like?
And I keep telling everybody, I'm not against deportation. I really ain't. Like, I lived in Japan for 11 years, and I've had plenty of homies. I almost got deported in Japan, right? But I had a chance to correct it. But I had due process. I could go to court. I can be like, yo, this is why I shouldn't be deported. This is what I'm doing here. And then they can judge. But if they deemed me to be deported, guess what? I would have left. Like my homie 120.
Yeah, no choice.
Yeah, like my homie 120, he got deported. That's the guy I did a song with recently. But he got deported. You know, after he did a year at home, cooled down, he reapplied and came back. That's okay. It's just the lack of due process I got a problem with. Like, you can't be jumping out the vans and snatching folks up and being like, yo, dog, now you're going to El Salvador. Like, yo, you're doing too much.
I think it also does not help that the border is as close as it is, rather. In other countries, you can't pull that.
You can't do it in Japan, no.
You cannot do that. So with it being this close and the ease, I guess, to be able to come here undocumented is, for all intents and purposes, when you talk about comparatively to other places, it's probably a lot easier to do this here. What's the closest country to Japan?
China, Korea, maybe Australia, and New Zealand.
But there's still like water masses there,
yep.
Right?
Yeah, you're not sneaking in, buddy.
You're not walking over there.
You're not sneaking in now. You're not swimming over there. You're not going like Cuba to Florida Keys now. You're not making it now.
Yeah. So I think that is the biggest thing. And I think America as a country has become more progressive in totality. So, you know, we are a more progressive country, which is why we have these different, I guess, opposing views on it. I try to be, like I said, as impartial as possible. So it's like, what is the correct answer to this? How do you reconcile that? Because there's a tax burden to this as well, right? So if I'm undocumented and I come in and I don't pay into the tax system, am I leeching off of Americans?
So the problem is, right, we don't know what taxes undocumented people do pay. Because undocumented people do pay taxes. It's just people.
Sales tax, I'm presuming.
A lot of taxes, right? Every time they buy something, they pay taxes, right?
Correct.
Now, if you're saying they're not working and they're undocumented and not paying taxes, my next question is, who do I blame? Do I blame that undocumented worker or do I blame the company? It's this whole weird thing, but that goes back to, is it criminal or is it civil? And what do we do when we find out you're undocumented? Do we allow you to resolve it and stay in? Or is the first step, yo, we're going to punishment and throw you the hell out and give you a criminal record? Because once again, even if you deport somebody, that doesn't mean that they're a criminal by definition. In America right now, we kind of go by feelings instead of law.
So explain that criminality piece to me. So you're not a criminal if you cross the border, right?
You guys don't believe me? Look it up yourself, right? Because once again, I tell everybody, I'm just a dude talking on the internet. The problem is most of y'all get your information from people like me, dudes talking on the internet. But don't take anything I say as truth. Go look it up yourself. But being undocumented in the USA is a civil violation, not a criminal offense in most cases. So you're not a criminal for overstaying your visa or crossing the border. It only becomes criminal when they deport you and you come back illegally, or you illegal documents or fraud, commit fraud. Then you have criminal charges that apply.
Okay, so they catch you once, deport you.
Yes.
That's a civil offense.
Yes. In most cases, yes.
You break back in, now you're
illegal, technically. But the notion of you just crossing over or overstaying your visa doesn't make you a criminal.
But let's say you illegally come over via Coyote or whatever in the first place. That I would assume is criminal, because I think what you're speaking to is you come over, let's just say through the border or whatever, and you overstay your welcome, essentially. And they have to come catch you and then deport you. That is civil. But let's say you are from the gate, not coming through the rite of passage, so to speak. You're going through a hole in the fence or coyote, whatever methodology. I would assume that is criminal.
Actually, nah. By U.S. law, by U.S. law, that's still civil when you get caught. After you get caught, then it's criminal. That's like, see, so that's the law, though, right? Now, we can argue about if the law is right or not, but that's the law on the book. So what I've been telling everybody, like, if you disagree with that law, then maybe we should lobby to change that law and make it better or fortify it. But as it stands on the books now, nah, man, that's just a civil offense.
Like most of these things, I think it's like a nuance type situation. I lean more towards, I was born here, I'm American, so of course I'm going to keep the American people, specifically our people, at the forefront of my thought. For America, one, and for Black people in general, is this a net negative or net positive, the passage of people into America? What do you think? Net negative, net positive for one, Americans, and for two, Black Americans?
And that's a good question, right? So for Americans in general, I don't think we realize how much undocumented workers subsidize our way of life. So the thing about Americans is, and I've been having this discussion with myself, and these thoughts are not fully cooked. So if I'm a little, off on that, excuse me. But America is not communal at all. We don't work good as a community. Like the lie we're told in the Black community is, we all gotta stick together. Nah, hell no. America's not set up for you to stick together. It's set up for you to be selfish and take as much as you can and help your immediate circle and who you let in your circle. It's not like the whole community at large. Like even white folks don't do that, right? But when it comes to undocumented workers, man, like them folks being exploited, it keeps prices down. I mean, that's why we get a lot of shit from China, right? The American dollar goes farther over there. So where it would cost $20 an hour to make the shit over here, man, only costs $5 over there. Bam. Now I get that product over here for $3 at the dollar store. Bam. I can do that, right? So that's one thing. We don't look at that. So that's a net positive.
You mean status quo, keeping the system as it is? Because I feel like there will never be a point to where there is no illegal immigrants in this country. Like it's just not gonna happen.
That's the point, right? That's the point. It's like we are exploiting that, and then we sitting there using the thing we're exploiting to say that's wrong, and that's the problem I have. But it's like all those farmers who voted for Trump. And Trump said he was going to deport, quote unquote, the illegals. And now those farmers like, yo, I ain't got nobody to work with on my crops. Like, yo, buddy, you voted for Trump. What do you want me to do? This is what the man said he's going to do. Like, now you sitting here with the boo-boo face, wondering why you ain't got no workers.
Because now your margin has went from, I'm not too familiar with the farming industry, but your margin, I would think, take a substantial hit if you have to pay a livable wage here. Compared to, illegal, where you don't have to document it. There's probably like a cost you also don't have to document via 1099s or however you choose to pay these people. So you just pay them under the table. So that's Americans, Black Americans.
So
is it a net positive, negative, or kind of like there is no correlation to it? It doesn't really affect us one way. Yeah.
I got a see, man. I'm still cooking. What do you think, man? Like, I hate to do that. What do you think? What do you think, Dad?
As a whole, maybe a net positive for our way of life, for where we need to go, net negative. And I say net positive for our way of life is because it keeps everything going. It's the status quo. It is normal for this way of life to be. And I say net negative for where we're trying to go is if we want to empower America and get people back into the workforce, decrease unemployment. Let's hire some of our own people, but you'd have to pay them more of a livable wage. And I'm not going to say that that's not going to have an effect on the overall economy. So I don't know what that looks like. For where we're trying to go, it may be a net negative if we're the end goal is more American empowerment. But that is under the pretense that they want to do them in the first place, which we probably don't. So I don't know how to reconcile that. I don't know. But for strictly Black Americans, just speaking about that, I don't think it necessarily affects us one way or the other.
I know it's this undertone of we're bringing in these immigrants to take over Black people's jobs, and the notion of a Black job has been thrown around. And I keep asking everybody, like, what's a Black job?
So I think that means that I don't think Trump is eloquent enough to relay what he's meaning. So to try to sort of, at least what I think of that is, let's say that we're fighting for bottom place between when it comes to let's say economic output or earnings. We're fighting for bottom place, us and our brown brothers and sisters. So I think that what that probably meant was the jobs, a Black job, so to speak, is the jobs that we probably frequent the most based off of numbers, warehouse, this or that, labor intensive, those sort of jobs. And just like with anything else, you increase the number of people that can fill these jobs. And one is way more lucrative from a financial position of a business than the other. Who's going to get the job? Because if I can pay you under the table and I have to pay this Black person a livable wage because they have rights in this country, you cannot like screw them over essentially of course you can screw them over, but like to a certain extent you don't have the same liberties that you would have. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that's what I think was meant by that.
When we say Black jobs, I think we all got an image of it, but
yeah.
Then the next question, the next logical step to that is, why is it that we think only Black people can do these jobs? And is that a function of racism, systemic racism, or is it us, right? And I think that's like something we talked about. Like offline.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't think it is a we can only. I think it is currently this is where we are overrepresented. So I think that we overrepresent in those jobs right now. If we didn't, they wouldn't be called Black jobs. So I don't think it's correct to call it a Black job. I think that it is more of a factor of socioeconomic status. And we just so happen to be at the bottom of that rung when it comes to socioeconomic status. For a myriad of reasons, we can go back however far we want to go back, we can go back to eons and eons, we can go back. But currently, and that's what I try to do, I try to look at current. Where are we currently and how can we progress? So currently, we are on the bottom rung of that socioeconomic status. Let's say we switch spots with someone up top, our Asian American counterparts. They would no longer be called Black jobs. They would be whoever is in that new spot. So that's what I try to do. I try to like make these correlations and see if they make sense. Because if we were to switch spots, that would be a new subclass of people. They wouldn't be called Black jobs anymore. It's just so happened that we overrepresent in these areas based on our socioeconomic status and that is the nuance that's needed to explain to people that Trump does not do, which is my biggest gripe with him. I don't disagree with a lot of what he stands for, so to speak. I'd say, like, looking at some of the policy that is put out, I don't disagree. I disagree with, which I'm not sure if it's a not want to say or doesn't have the eloquence to put into words and articulate. Because when you say black jobs, that's going to trigger black people because they are not black jobs. There are black engineers, one of them, black surgeons, black
Right.
doctors.
Why are there not black jobs, right? And that's the thing,
Correct.
right? How do you
Correct.
so this is the undertone of America, right? Everything's about race, but we try to pretend like it's not. And when you point out race, then depending on what side you are, you'd be like, well, why are you pointing out race? Well, the race is right there.
I don't know. Now that's a point I don't necessarily agree with. I do think there is the undertone of it, but I think it's way more currently. Now, previously, yes, it was more about race. Currently, I think it's about really how much resources you have and how you leverage relationships.
Well, how do you get those resources and relationships, right? And that's the thing. So no, you know what? I'm gonna let you let you cook on this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you cook.
No. Like I like to test some of these things out, and some of them may not come to be true because as we talk, we have these conversations, and you kind of mine some of this stuff out. You find out that some of your posits may not be rooted in fact. So that's a great thing. Like it may not be. That may be a falsehood that I believe. It may be this undertone and these things that you're positing. So I'm really just like open to getting to the crux of the matter. More so than one side or the other. You get what I'm saying?
And this is why we homies right here, dog. Because
Yeah.
like, yo, sometimes you hit me with something like, okay, yeah, I see that. I see that. I see the factual statements in that. So when it comes to like racism in general in America, and I keep saying this, everything ain't the white man's fault. At some point, personal responsibility got to kick in, and you got to say what you're not doing. I don't push against racism. I honestly believe it's your right to be racist in America. What I push back against is systemic racism. And people always ask me, like, what do you mean by systemic racism? And I'm just saying, like, policies and practices that are just baked in the cake that make things unequal, outcomes unequal. Like, the hell, why the outcomes are there? Like, the outcomes are unequal. When we talk about the criminal justice system, if you take a black man who did the same crime as a white man, same age, same even economical background, when the black guy gets more prison time than the white guy, that's a systemic problem. Now, that's the problem. The hell with why that's the problem. How do we fix the problem?
So I have a theory that maybe because you have to think of who is the sentencer. The burden of guilt is on the jury, but sentencing is on the judge.
You getting to my point? You getting there?
Who are the judges?
Yeah, that's my point. The answer is so simple. The only thing you need to do what Canada, Japan, and every other country do. You have a set sentencing structure. So if you commit a first-degree murder, you're going to get this many amount of years, no matter what.
Which we have, but it's a range. It's not a. You can get this charge carries a sentence of up to X amount of years.
And depending on the judge, he can decide.
I can give you 10. I can give you 2.
5.
It's based on how I'm feeling.
As a black guy, I grew up in life, and red-headed white dudes with mustache beat my ass all throughout my life. And then I worked my way up and become a judge. Then I see a red-headed white man with a mustache. I'm throwing a book at your ass because that's I'm like, yo, red-headed white dudes with mustaches are criminals. Look what they did to me. Like, you got to get away from that damn bias in sentences. That's a way to change. Yes, but you can do that with everything, right? Like with housing, with income, like just set a structure. That's what I focus on. I'm like, look, dog, I don't give a damn if you like me or not. I really think like you being racist, that's a you problem. Only thing I'm saying is don't block me, bro. Like all this shit to block me, get it the fuck out the way.
And my thing is also, which is, I guess, a controversial opinion. I am not of the mind of, even paying attention to it, man. I know that these things are in place, and instead of, which I find myself often doing, it's like, okay, these are the cards I'm dealt. How can I get the desired outcome based on these cards? It's like in the spades game, man.
You cooking over here,
which
man.
that is a solution to alter the legal system. And I think that fight needs to be fought. But what can we do in the meantime to ensure that we gain capital stability as a people? That is the question I think we need to be asking. Like, how do we leverage what we have to get to where we want to go? Get more Black engineers, more Black doctors, more Black scientists, more what? How do we do that? I think that is the answer. Is you have to cultivate an interest within our people in these fields, and I think that is the answer.
You just hit something, man, because what we tend to advertise more so than anything. And I'm saying this as part of the problem. Like, I grew up wanting to be a rapper and a musician and producer, and I've done those things, right? I had a record deal in Japan.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it that much. I had a good acting career in Japan, but those are not scalable ideas and jobs for everybody, right? That's like
Correct.
1% jobs. What you need to be like promoting and advertising is the Black entrepreneurs, the Black STEM guys, the Black engineers, the Black medical people, because that is scalable. Like, that's something you can obtain. I ain't gonna say easily, but it's a obtainable goal, not out here trying to be a rapper, dog. Like, that is
correct.
Pie in the sky.
There is, even in the medical space, when applying to medical schools and whatnot, there is a shortage of us even applying because that's not something we go after. So there is a bias in medicine against our people that is not able to be corrected because it's not enough of us there. There's so many different avenues. If you are a patient, they don't know what's going on. Really.
They don't.
Like, I have to explain to my grandparents all the time about their health records and whatnot. And luckily I'm able to be in a space to where I can do that. But sometimes people just don't know. And if they just carry on and they walk past you like, yep, this is what you got, da-da-da-da, boom. If you have a relationship or let's say a camaraderie with this person and this patient feels comfortable with you, you can probably potentially save their life to a certain degree, because even as explaining something to them, they probably would have because you can talk to them the way they need to be talked to because you have these people in your family. So it's like you can come down to their level and explain something to them that they may not understand. And I think that is the crux of it. We need to be in these spaces.
So what you just said right there, right? And I'm going to use this triggering word for everybody, but like, that's DEI really means when you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Is actually having people that can like know, because a lot of folks just don't know, man. Like, a lot of my white counterparts, even when I was in Japan, I'll tell this story. I had a do-rag on, and a homie came to my house. I didn't have it outside, but I had it in my house. And when the homie came to my house, Asian bro, he's like, "Yo, so you in the gang?" I'm like, "What you mean, dog?" The dude, he's like, "Yeah, that's why I see what all the gangsters have." I'm like, "Nah, bro, this is a hair care product. I'm just like laying my hair down, so when I go out, it'll be presentable." But he didn't know that, right? And that was just like legit ignorance, because the programming and the advertising he got was, "Yo, I see in movies and videos when bad stuff happening, Black guys have this on," right? That's the thing when you have diversity. People kind of know what's going on.
It's association.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I understand its place, but I also have maybe this is the competitor in me. I have a problem kind of reconciling things. I don't like feeling like I've been handed things.
How do you stop that feeling?
I'd say that everything is level, which there will never be.
Exactly.
But I think
things are never level.
I think that creates a place of I don't want us to be to the point to where we feel like we're owed something.
We're never gonna get there, dog. That's impossible, though. If you're Black in America, you're never going to be good enough. So I tell people, don't worry about that. Like, that's a them problem. Like, if you think I got everything given to me because the color of my skin, first prove it. And how can you disprove it? You can't. Like, when people said DEI, it didn't only mean race. It meant veteran groups. It meant disabled people. It meant gay people. It meant women.
But you know what? Why did that become a Black thing?
See, that so you hit the nail on the head, dog. Like, everything is positioned into Black and white in America. There's never been any push that has been specifically for Black people, even to include the civil rights. That included gay people, Asians, and women. Like, there's never been anything specifically done for Black people, but the notion is you're being handed something. So I keep asking everybody, like when they have a problem with DEI, I ask, all right, so you have a problem with DEI because black folks are quote unquote being handed something. So are you saying there was no black folks qualified to do whatever job that was?
I am changing my positive on that. My problem isn't with DEI itself. It is, why is this associated with blackness? I don't like that part.
Yes.
That
the problem
is the part that
Yes.
agitates me. It's like, why is this associated with me being black?
Everything is like associated with race. When that, once again, that goes back to the undertone. Like people don't want to talk about race, but anything I do, like even being in my job, right? When I was doing acting, people were like, oh, you got that acting job because you was black. Even doing IT, man, I worked my ass off. I got 7 different certifications. I ain't gonna say the job I work at, but at the job I work at now, I got more certifications than anybody in there. On paper, I'm the most qualified person on paper.
And that's amazing.
But you know, it's that thing though. People will still think, oh man, well, dude got handed that. But how do I stop that? I can't, right? Because that's the perception. And perception becomes reality.
Yeah, and it isn't more so externally what I was talking about, saying internally more so. Because I could care less about, external opinions if I know what I know. But it's like the association with blackness was the real issue for me. It wasn't necessarily the whole DEI movement in and of itself, which, things should be taken at face value.
Like it's a lot of white people that's giving me opportunities, but they give me those opportunities because I've proven myself. It wasn't just something that was given to me. Before it was DEI, it was affirmative action. Before it was affirmative action, man, it was civil rights. And these all meant black to people. And I'm like, how do we get here, people?
And I did see a point of having these programs when they were needed. So back in the 60s or 70s, there probably was a need for this because we were just getting through the civil rights movement and there wasn't a place for us within these corporations and everything. So at that point, I feel like these programs were needed for, I guess that would be my grandparents' time period of coming of age and everything. But
you don't think there's no need for it now?
that is what I struggle with. I think we would have to rely on the numbers for that one. But that would be hard to quantify because you would have to basically go through each pool of applicants per role, distinguish qualifications, and then see if that is a correlation with job attainment. So if I have X amount of qualified people and this percentage of them is black across roles and across companies, what is the percentage of that qualified group of people that attains the job? And then we just look at the correlation. But I think what we may find is we may not apply to these type of jobs at a higher rate because we just simply don't go after them. We don't have the people to substantiate it, is what I'm saying. So if we go all back to what we were just talking about, if we get people interested in these fields and then we have this conversation, we'd have more merit. Because right now the answer would be, oh, it's just not enough of y'all applying, which may be true. So if we get the numbers up, then we could be like, hey, look, man, we got X amount of people and it still ain't the math not mathing. Right now, we can't say the math ain't mathing.
Yes and no, right? And I think one thing we need to realize when we talk about this, that it's going to be people who are unqualified for every job that gets hired. It's more so about networking and how do you get black people in that network? Because honestly, I truly believe a lot of white folks are down for hiring the most qualified people. It's just they don't know where to look. And that's like the thing with DEI and all these programs. Like, yo, where do I get you to look? Because if you think there are black folks who are qualified to do this job, how do I get your attention over there? Because most of the time, y'all don't know where to look.
I think the thing also is we have to better prepare and go in these spaces and reach out. Like every job that I've attained in my short career has been outreach. So I took it upon myself to beef up my LinkedIn profile, reach out, get LinkedIn Premium for a while so I can contact the recruiters or hiring managers directly. Like, that's my mindset. It's like, all right, this is what I want. How do I get it? I'm not gonna you're not gonna deny me because I'm gonna keep working until I'm blue in the
Right. In
face.
spite of these challenges, like I'm gonna keep
In
on
spite, I
pushing.
don't.
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't care about the
That's
challenges,
how you
and I
gotta
think
be.
that's what frustrates people when we have these conversations. Like, oh no, but I'm like, man, I'm not pussyfooting around. I don't give a
Hmm.
fuck really. If they not, if they, hey, if this ain't work out, what did I do wrong to not attain the outcome that I
Yes.
wanted?
Or how do I
Even
counteract? How do I?
how do
It
I
could be. Yeah.
counteract?
It could be
What
racism.
can I
Who
do
gives a
better?
damn?
At the end of the day, it does not matter.
Big
You
facts.
didn't get the outcome you wanted. So what
Hmm.
do you do about it? Are you gonna cry? I'm not gonna cry. And
Yeah.
I've seen people with my skin color get to these places, so I know it's not impossible.
Yeah. That's because you have self-esteem. A lot of our black young men, they don't have that self-esteem that get up and go. Because once again,
Yeah.
I'll tell you racism exists, but you should already know that, dog. How you gonna counteract it? Hey, Marcus L-Spade Johnson here, taking a quick break from the podcast to ask you guys to listen to my new song, Drop and Roll, featuring 120. Go listen to it anywhere you can listen to music at YouTube, Spotify, Apple. It'll be under DJ L-Spade. That's DJ-SPADE. Drop and Roll. Appreciate you guys. Peace. You're right in the sense we got to start bridging the gap of information. I do think the problem now is misinformation and too much information. Because, like, even if you got the information, knowing where to find the information and getting the correct information is still kind of a hindrance to our community.
Yeah, I think there's also a trope of this whole college thing that I don't necessarily agree with. It's like it's framed in a way that it's not meant for us or this or that. I don't necessarily agree with that because even if the student loan is the argument, it's a value proposition type of thing. So if you major in anything STEM, the outcomes that you face are far greater than some of these other majors. So, the student loan payment in the grand scheme of things will probably be negligible. So let's say you go to state school, you're leaving with roughly, let's say, 25K in debt, but you majored in engineering or chemical engineering, bio or chemistry, something like that, where you can get a fairly decent job coming out. What's that payment going to do to you? I don't necessarily know if the trope of college is not for us is the right thing to be pushing.
No, it's bullshit, man. You hit the nail on the head, dog. Like, nobody who's rich are not telling their kids not to go to college. And the biggest
Correct.
return on investment you have is your goddamn education. Now, I tell people this, right? Because, like, man, look, smallest violin in the world, but I got dyslexia and ADHD, and I always was told that I wasn't smart enough to go to college, right? And I believe that shit until, through nefarious means, I'm not gonna go through my past, but something happened that I had to get out of town, right? And I needed
Yeah.
somewhere to hide. Now, it just so happened I had a GI Bill, and my brother, who I always give credit for saving my life, saw me in there getting ready to do something nefarious, was like, hey, man, don't you get the GI Bill? I was like, yeah. So, like, going to school was a hustle for me to get out of town. But when I got there, I
Yeah.
realized, oh, I can flourish here. And that degree allowed me to go to Japan. But if I didn't have a degree, I couldn't get into Japan, dog. So no, you should go to school. Now, you hit the nail on the head though. What you majoring in matters. You
It's
can't
the
be
most important thing. And I think that is the biggest trick bag is majoring in something that because at that point it's not about feelings or, I feel like I want to go major in freaking what's some random
my major, man, broadcasting, man. Fuck broadcasting is dead, dog. Don't major in broadcasting. So no, I
Yeah.
major in broadcasting because that's what I wanted to do. And look,
Yeah.
I made good grades and I flourished. But when I got out and I had that student loan debt, and I
Yeah.
went to my first broadcasting job, I was like, how much I get paid? And it's like $8.85. I was like, fuck, I have made a mistake.
There's been a mass miscalculation. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like it's too many of us majoring things that don't matter because it's not going to. You need to pay your bills first so you can advance. I will say there's always trade offs. So I had to study really. My major is biochemistry, so
Flex.
when everyone else is having fun, I was slaving away, man, for like 4 or 5 years. It was a tough grind. Like it was not.
Wait, man. You a Kappa dog. You can't say you didn't have no fun.
I did have fun.
Man, paint this dude with glue.
My fun was limited. I say restricted, and I was working. So there's that. Like it wasn't. I got this music class. I'm good. I'm gonna go out and hang out. And nah, man, I got genetics and biochemistry to study for. There's no hanging out, so to speak. I got to study a lot. So, but now say that all that to say, I'm now in a better, position because of it. So I don't regret it. But you will more than likely suffer a bit to obtain what you're trying to get at. It's pros and cons to things. You just gotta work for it.
I'm gonna lean into you being a Kappa to ask you this question, man. I apologize because it's kind of stereotypical, but I gotta get. You guys got the reputation of being ladies' men who being popular with the ladies, right? That's the rumors, right? So I gotta ask you this, man, and just get your opinion because you're younger than me. I gotta ask you about Shannon Sharpe. And for those y'all don't know, a Jane Doe has a $50 million civil lawsuit in Nevada because the woman claims that Shannon Sharpe raped her and sexually assaulted her on 2 separate occasions, summer 2024 and January 2025, after what began as a nearly 2-year consensual relationship starting in 2023. The complaint also alleges that Shannon Sharpe secretly filmed and distributed sex videos and subjected her to threats and emotional abuse. Now, if you've heard some of these videos too that was surreptitiously recorded, you will hear like some racially charged sexual play, and then some of these things are coming out about dude being on a dog leash and her asking her to put the black baby in her. Bro, I got to get your thoughts on what you think about this, man.
So I think this is a huge case of a lack of self-awareness. So you even reading through some of those text messages and listening to the phone call where it's clearly like it's doctor, you can hear the coaxing. It's like, wait, what? You did this, and it's one person is way too calm for this to be going down. It's like it's quite clear that you're playing into this. And then you look at the text messages, you pay attention to what was about to come out. It's about to be this huge deal. So it's like you see all of these things happening in sequence, and it's just like you did not see that coming. It's like how is that possible? But that goes to say that money does not always equal the right decisions. And when you make bad decisions and you have visibility in money, it is exemplified. But as money givers, money taketh away, because now everyone has all but forgot about it. He's still doing numbers. He's still doing his thing.
Numbers in his own personal show where he did lose. He lost that ESPN contract, right? And it's like we got a 15-year gap in our age, right? But when this first happened, the first thing I talked about with my homie Alex in Australia was, and I said just like, man, dude, too old for this shit, bro. Like you damn near 60 years old, my guy. At some point, you gotta know when you being coached and tricked out of your position. Not to mention, this is the second time dude done got caught up with a sexual assault scandal. Like, why are you not moving differently, bro? You are not that guy anymore. Like, there was something that Monique was saying to him when she was on his show, like, man, you need to get you an older woman. And here's the thing, man. I'm not saying he needed to get an older woman, but the sentiment was, dog, you out here as a damn near 60-year-old man. Well, I can't say, man, mid 50-year-old man. You hollering at a 21-year-old. What the fuck y'all got in common besides sex? What y'all gonna do? Talk about Pokemon? Like Disney characters?
In which I think that is fine. You have the liberty as an adult to do what you please, but I don't think it's an age thing, because I heard that argument about getting an older woman and stuff. Conniving and dishonest in a way and trying to set someone up is not restricted to age.
That's a good point.
If you're a conniving 20-year-old, more than likely you're gonna be a conniving 50-year-old. So let's say the same woman turns 35 or 40 or whatever. she's not gonna be a different person. So I don't
That's right.
necessarily fall into that argument. I think that you should be more conscious overall. It doesn't matter her age. It doesn't matter, of course, legal age, but it does not matter the person. That's a you thing. You got to be more self aware and know your positioning better. There's all type of, man, you got NDAs, all kinds of shit that you can put in place, or outside of the NDAs, things that you can put in place to protect you from these type of situations.
Or you just gotta pick better, man, because you actually just nailed the head, dog. We ain't saying about Bill Belichick. He got him a young tenderoni. Ain't nobody
Exactly.
saying that. But I think the cheat code is, man, we also gotta feel like you in love too. Cause when you look at Bill, man, it's obvious that man in love, bro.
I don't think he's wrong for it, man. I think you should do.
He's not.
I feel like this is where the double standards come into play, because if the roles were reversed, it would be, let's say, Tracy Ellis Ross and some 21-year-old. It wouldn't matter. Don't nobody care. It is what it is at that point because of the, once again, biases that we have between the male and female dynamic. I don't think it would make as many waves because of the dynamic. There's a dynamic switch there because older women date younger guys all the time. And it's kind of like just a thing that no one really cares about. It's just like,
I think it's the other way around, man. But I hear you. I'm gonna let you cook though.
in Shannon Sharpe situation though, there's this whole, oh, her brain isn't fully developed, da 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 da.
Okay, now I hear what you're saying, but I think it's like I think this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of going to your point. Nobody kind of cares when a man is kind of abused or is being abused because
Yeah.
if me as I'll say this, man, I probably shouldn't say this, but when I was 17 years old, man, I got hit on by a 28-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Now, technically, I was underage. But if I
Technically.
came out right now and said, yo, man, at 17 years old, man, I was clapping cheeks with a 28-year-old, y'all gonna be like, so? Like,
Yeah,
congratulations,
exactly.
dog.
Exactly. That's what you would get. But flip those genders.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Flip the
different.
genders.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
A problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I don't really fall into the. If you're above the age of 18, man, which is where we can send people to war and whatnot, do what you want. Like, I'm not going to advise my 18-year-old daughter to go talk to some 35-year-old dude. I'm
Yeah,
not.
hell no.
Now,
Hell no.
I'm not going to do that. That's just something, because there is that level of what is your
Experience
intent
and
type
yep.
thing. So I'm not going to advise it. But at the end of the day, if she does decide to do that, only thing I can do is shit. Just, if I don't agree with it and I feel like this is something she shouldn't do, the only thing I can do is dissociate myself and from the situation altogether. Because at the end of the day, I no longer, via the law, now culturally, I could, probably have some type of cachet with that, because there is, you don't want to disappoint your parents type thing. But legally, after she is a legal adult, I can't do anything. So
Right, but advise, yeah, you're right.
I can't do anything but advise at that point. And I would really have a problem with it. And that's the only thing I think when you kind of make it personal, be like, okay, if this is my daughter, what would my sentiments be? But for Shannon Sharpe's case, she was on OnlyFans before that. So I mean, that lets you know what type of person you're dealing with.
But see, I push back against that, right?
Yeah.
Now I say this. I would say, you're right. If that bit was my daughter, as an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old, and then here comes this 50-year-old dude who's older than me, basically being like, yo, I'm about to go get you. We're gonna have the relationship. I'm sorry, my Shannon Sharpe voice is terrible. But like, I already know there's a gap in experience, and you're manipulating her because you got more experience. Like, that's what it is. It's always that power
But it
dynamic.
may not be manipulation, and I'll say that because there is some merit to, now 21 is a bit of an extreme case, but if you are older and more established, as you get with older women, that's more baggage. So I say 21 is an extreme case because that is barely, I mean, you're 3 years removed from high school.
Yeah, we know what you're doing, though. We know if you get with a 21-year-old at 50, we know what you're doing, bro. Like, you just trying to get some young tail.
Let's say now this isn't the situation, but let's say he marries her, he takes care of her, because let's say that does happen, because it did happen for quite a while. That used to be the norm.
It did.
That used to be the norm, and that was just how life went. But I think that there is some, and I say 21 is extreme, but let's say 50 and 27, 28. Is your outlook the same? Still a huge gap. But
Okay, I think you're hitting on something because had she been like 28, I wouldn't have batted an eye because I would think you had enough life experience to actually know what you want. And I guess that's kind of on me. I'm showing my blind spots because I think you don't know what you want at 21.
hey, she did the manipulating. You got manipulated by a 21-year-old. So who is the upper hand here?
That's true. Okay. Do we? Let's just go over this. Do we think?
Yeah.
And I'm just asking you that because we don't know because we wasn't there.
Yeah, we're outsiders looking in. Yeah.
Based on the preponderance of evidence, do you think this lady was abused?
I'd say I think they have some freaky shit going on to where there's some type of BDSM shit potentially just due to the fact of the timeline. So she said he did X, Y, and Z back in January or something, but they were still messing around afterwards and all of this good jazz. And I just don't. And based on the way that the text messages are in confluence with the phone call, it sounds like they have some type of role play thing going on, from what I can grasp. And when you add that to the mix, that's where shit gets tricky. Because how do you, if that be the case, how do you separate what's real and what's not? It kind of almost makes it to where it's like you can't deduce because the text messages are damning. Like I've seen some crazy shit in there. So and she was co-conspirating at that point. So it's like how do you separate what is real and what's not? And then when you just add the newness of this new deal he was about to get, yada yada yada, timing is very, very suspicious because you didn't even file this criminally. This is a civil case.
Well, it's higher. The standard is higher for a criminal case than it is a civil case. Like once again, the civil case, only thing you need is a preponderance of evidence. And if I'm gonna be honest, she got that. She got a preponderance of evidence enough to say, yeah, you did it. And my point is, it kind of doesn't matter because it's a catch-22. Like this is a function of you being a grown ass man and not thinking this whole thing through. To your point, it's like, yo, you should have just thought this way out because you had too much
lack of self-awareness. Self-awareness can be the determining factor between a lot of different situations. Are you self-aware where you are? This shit looks sketchy. I feel like some shit about to pop off. I need to get up out of here. Or this situation, because it's like you kind of have to see this coming. That phone call, you can pick up. That phone call is just what makes me the most upset because it's like, bro, you don't see how she's just baiting. She's just reeling you in. It's like, what?
Bro, that's the thing you got me.
I don't think that would be the thing. Like just listening to it, I was like, bro, she's obviously. It sounds scripted. Like it sounds like you're being recorded right now. You just didn't pick up on it. You
hubris,
just continue to incriminate yourself. Like
hubris. Like I say this all the time. Like I'm old and washed up, and people be like, "Oh no, man, look, I look great for my age." But I'm at the age I realize two things. First, I don't get to dictate what cool is anymore. I don't. Like at this age, I don't. Like your age, y'all can. Like you can tell me what's cool, and I gotta be like, okay, that's what's cool now, because I don't get to dictate that. Second of all, bruh, you gotta know who you are and what what you're there for. 9 out of 10, you're a handsome man, Shannon Sharpe, but she ain't there for your looks, dog. She's there because what you can give and your stature and your standing. So for you to be treated at your position like that, I'm looking at you, dog, because you are the more experienced person.
You got to understand those things.
Right.
Like you have to. You have to understand those things. But I think when you have a certain level of, and I think athletes probably fall susceptible this to the most. Athletes, or I'd say prodigies of some sort. Zion fell victim to the same thing. They never have to learn how to discern stuff because they've always been told what they want to hear.
Yeah.
You don't have to develop a level of understanding because you you just don't have to. There's a product even not having to do it. So he probably never had to learn X, Y, and Z, or how women may operate, how this looks, how do I need to navigate this situation. Like it's just you don't have to learn those things when it comes to being a regular person. In order to get what you want, you gotta learn how to move and how to navigate.
Ask me how I know, because I'm 5'7.5". I had to learn, like, yo, what's going to get me attracted to these women? Like, it's my personality and my humor, along with being handsome as fuck. But I got that boundary.
Use what you got, man.
Yeah, off top, I'm not 6 feet, or you know what? It's not even 6 feet. I'm not 5'11". I think we look up the average height.
Average height, like the average height is 5'9".
5'9", bro. I'm under that though, so I'm already at a stumbling block. But you're right. I had to learn how to navigate this.
You just don't have to, and that is what predisposes you to these type of things. Look at Zion; he's going through hell right now.
Dude, a little stupid though, man. I can't say that he's young, but I do feel like in Zion's case, dog, it's a case of country mouse, city mouse. It's like your country ass went to a place and you had this opportunity, and you're not doing what it takes to stay in this position. It's like you're seeing all the perks, but you're not doing the work with it. It's like, yo, if you know you're and I make this personal. When I was acting, I made sure I had a 6-pack because I would go to auditions and they wanted to see the 6-pack. They ain't gonna hear, man, well, it's my off day and I'm trying to relax. No. That's the same thing with you, an NBA player, dog. Make sure you take care of the ball first and then go clap cheeks later. It's like, dude, just like, man, clapping cheeks and beignets. That's all. That's all I'm doing. Cheeks and po' boys.
Man, and he didn't keep the main thing, man. What got you there was your skill. You didn't keep your weight under control. You just basically got drafted and said, fuck it, I'm here.
Yeah. And that's the problem.
And that's a huge problem. Like you gotta be smarter, especially with the current landscape, bro. You get caught up for anything. You don't even have to be there. You get he hit me. What? I've never seen you before. Lawsuit. It don't matter. You still gotta go fight it. There is no, I don't know her. Nah, you still going to court, dog.
I tell my cousins all the time, man. I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta know not to hit a woman. And they always hit me with what if she got a chainsaw and she's juggling? She come like, look, bro, I know what you're saying. And there are times that we can probably justify that. But in this climate, dog, no, you just don't do it because the court of public opinion is stronger than ever.
The actual, like, bro.
Nobody cares about the facts.
No one cares if you found innocent. You were charged. That's what it was.
Don't put yourself in the position. We work on the assumption that men are stronger than women. So when you hit that woman, you're instantly wrong.
I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. How do you feel like that has impacted the current dating market and how men and women communicate and interact with each other? I think it has made it to where you can. I ain't gonna lie, you can't do nothing, man. Like, well, I'd say you can. You just gotta have a certain level of finesse and nuance within you. Like, you gotta know how things operate. You gotta pick up on. It's really sales, and this is what I tell all people. Like, everybody should work a sales job, bro. Like, it's talking to people becomes so much easier, and it just like it's you pick up on certain things because you're trying to sell them something. So you have to you no longer have the option to not understand people. And I think that's something that men need to take into account because it's you can read people a lot better, especially if you just let them talk.
You answer my question, dog. The problem with today's climate is, first, nobody knows how to hunt. Back in the day, and I can say that now because I'm 44. Back in the day, dog, we didn't have all this technology. So you had to go to where the women was at and hunt. Your game had to be that as such. You had to learn how to approach them. You had to learn what they like. You had to damn near like scope them out, not in a creepy way, but you had to present yourself in such a way to make yourself desirable. Today, though, the problem is, right, you have apps. And what the apps have done is giving you a false feeling of what reality is. So you get on the app, you get to scrolling left and right, you see these women, and you don't have to actually communicate with them. You don't have to make a connection. You don't have to hunt. You kind of feel by virtue of seeing that picture that they should just approach you. And that ain't how like real life works. So like nobody knows how to communicate or, as you said, sell yourself. Like you got to learn how to adjust. Instead of complaining about this, like I'll be honest, man, I ain't never had a problem getting ass. Like I may not got the ass I wanted, but I've never had a problem getting ass. But a lot of the problem is dudes now, you see these fine ass women, dog, like I'm like, dude, you're not gonna get that. You're not. But
you may.
But how are you going to get it? So if you're going to get it, how are you going to approach yourself and make yourself desirable to that type of woman? But dudes ain't doing that, dog. So I think it's a combination of dudes being lazy because dudes have always historically went after women. And if you're going to tell me right now, well, it's hard because women make more money, then that's a boundary that you got to overcome. How you going to overcome that? Dudes are lazy. They don't know how to communicate and they don't know how to hunt. But that's just my opinion. What do you think, my friend?
I think that this may be biased, but I think, bro, just like who likes you. Like dating becomes a lot simpler when you just mess with people that like you. And I think
that's profound, dog. That was profound.
I think women will like. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, if a woman really like you, dog.
Yeah.
There is even when it comes, there is no. I even feel like men are not capable of reciprocating the level of love and affection a woman can give you when she really likes you. Because I don't think we possess that within us to even do it. Because she is naturally gonna be more nurturing anyway. But if she really like messes with you. Like, there is nothing, that girl will run through a wall for you. Like, she'll run through a wall. So it's really just, guys also don't pick up on that though. And that's the thing. Like, before I got married, it's like, bro, even if like towards this is a progression, of course. Like, of course, we all started out the same way, trying to chase through this whole thing. But bro, it started to get to a point to where it was unattractive if I felt like she wasn't putting in enough effort. Like it just wouldn't go nowhere. It just be like, you didn't ask me if I ate today. You don't fold no clothes. You don't do nothing.
Damn.
You asked me if I ate.
Right.
Nah, this ain't gonna work out too long. So that was kind of like I'd say the biggest green flag for me was what you could do to help my life out. Because, as a man, naturally, you're going to have to, as things progress, you're going to have to take on a bigger burden and take care of, do yada, yada, yada. But at the beginning, the least you could do is show me you're interested. And I feel like a lot of dudes just get caught up in chasing and doing X, Y, and Z. Like, bro, you don't got to do all that. You really don't.
We talk about love languages and shit like that, right? For guys, it's different. And like you said, man, just the very notion you asked me, did I eat? That means a lot, dog. Like for me, it was, hey, do you need time alone? Well, I'm gonna give you the space to go explore yourself. Like seriously, if my girl see me staring out the window, she know, oh, cool, let him stare. Let him do that. It ain't no, hey, what you looking at? Why are you looking at that? You thinking about me? Why are you? I don't get it. It ain't none of that. It's like, yo, he's staring out the window. He in Marcus land. Let him have that, right?
Let him have it.
I need that, right? I need that space. I need you around, but I don't need you to be intrusive.
On the women's side, I don't think they understand that.
Some don't.
I think the vast majority don't, because I think they naturally attribute it to it's something about me. To be honest, like I think most people, but women, they're naturally self-centered, and I don't say that in a bad way. I just think that naturally they attribute things, good or bad, to themselves.
No, I agree, because societal pressures. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but even if you're staring out the window and you're not talking as much, she may assume that it's about her. She don't know that you just been, bro, work just kicked your ass. The world kicking your ass. You just need a second.
A breather. I need a breather, man.
I need a breather, bro. I need halftime. I don't need a bunch of questions right now. So it's just like, I think there is a lack of understanding you know what I'm saying, both sides. And I don't like to make these 50-50, or it could go one way or another, or I like to do the majority and minority type of argument. There's a podcast I watched. This guy really, really honed in on that, and I think that is key, because if you're having a conversation, it is very unproductive to say some. Now when I hear it, it just makes me cringe because it's like, of course I can make the argument that some random person this would fall into this category, but
Somebody always does. Yep.
do most or minority of people do this? And I think that majority of the time women will attribute that to them more so than, just understanding that you may just be needing a little time alone.
Nah, I agree. And that's the homie Karen Ealy, dog.
Yeah,
yo, man, we got to do this podcast thing again, dog.